Hello and welcome to Almost 30 Podcast. What's up, everybody? I am so glad you're here. My name is Krista Williams. And if you've been rocking with us for a long time, welcome back. I love you so much. I'm so grateful for you for going along this journey, this life with me, with Lindsay, with Almost 30. It's such a pleasure to be with you every single week. Means the freaking world that you choose Almost 30 as your podcast to listen to. Almost 30 started when Lindsay and I were in our 20s, when we were figuring life out, when we felt really lost and we wanted to have answers. We felt like we were here for a reason. We wanted to find purpose. So we started to have these really silly, fun conversations on our closet floor. And then at that point, we grew Almost 30 to the brand it is today. We've been on tour. We've held retreats. We did merch for a while. We have a membership. We have courses and programs, all the things. And it's been such a pleasure, a joy, and a delight. And at Almost 30, we interview some of the best of the best. We have the greatest minds in the biz on the podcast. And we also do solo episodes. So Lindsay and I deep dive on topics that we're interested in, that we love talking about, that we're feeling. We like to share what's going on in our lives and also share some helpful information that we're exploring in our own experience. So today's episode is inspired by my overwhelm, my feeling of overwhelm in this past season of my life. I felt very overwhelmed. And I was thinking about overwhelm a lot. And I was thinking about the reasons why we feel overwhelmed. And then I wanted to support us in thinking about what we can do about it. So I am someone that is so interested in the why. Why is my favorite question. Awe is my favorite feeling. And I always think about why with everything. So whenever I'm feeling something, whenever I, have a situation or a circumstance, I'm like, why? Why? My parents probably wanted to kill me. So in this season of overwhelm in my life, in a season where I'm working a lot, I have so much going on in my career life. I'm, in my own personal life experience, there's a lot of things too. My dad is really sick. He has Parkinson's and Alzheimer's. So I'm traveling quite a bit across the country to Florida. And I'm just in a transition mode with a lot of different things. So I've been feeling completely overwhelmed. So many people feel overwhelmed all the time. I definitely think that most of the women that I talk to are constantly overwhelmed with the amount of things they have on their plate, whether it's at work, whether it's in their relationships, whether it's in their side hustles, whether it's whatever the things are, whether it's even like their personal growth and development to-do list. So many women have so many things that they want to do, and we oftentimes feel so overwhelmed. I also think that a lot of the overwhelmed feeling we're having has to do with social media, the inundation of information that we have, just access to so many resources, so many opinions, so many pictures, so many videos. Access to so much is making us feel incredibly overwhelmed. There's also the added pressure that I think a lot of people feel to find their purpose, to become the best versions of themselves, to be all that they can be, which is a really beautiful thing. But I think that makes us a little overwhelmed because we feel like when we get into the personal growth and development space, that it's a little bottomless. We're like, okay, now I've discovered shadow work. Where do the shadows end and where do I begin? Like, how can I be a person and not be doing work all the time on myself? How can I actually enjoy living and not just be so stuck in the work? So there's a lot of reasons why we can be overwhelmed, but I wanted to explore 4 nuanced reasons why you're overwhelmed and talk about what we can do about it. And all of these reasons, I will say to you all, my besties, I will whisper, I struggle with these too. So these are all reasons why I've been overwhelmed, why I've seen the women I work with be overwhelmed, why I've seen my community be overwhelmed. You are not alone. I am you and you are me. So strap in. Let's talk about this feeling of overwhelm. Let's get to the bottom of it and let's feel better. Let's be able to actually live and experience our lives, feel good in our bodies, feel good about who we are, feel good about what we're doing, feel rested. Oh my God, you guys, I want for you to feel rested. I want for you to feel inspired. I want you to just kind of take a load off spiritually, physically, mentally, emotionally. So the first reason why you are overwhelmed right now in your life, and I'm assuming you are if you're listening to this, is because you are taking breaks wrong. So you are taking your breaks wrong. So hear me out. So, for so many of us, the natural inclination for us when we take breaks is to grab our trusty cellular device and just lay down, kick our heels up in our bed, and do a little scrolly scroll. For so many of us, when we take breaks now, our breaks involve YouTube, our breaks involve social media, our breaks involve watching something. 80% of input is processed through the eyes. So most of any input that we have, any stimulus input in our lives is actually ingested through the eyes. So our eyes are taking in so much information all of the time through our phones, through our devices, etc. And when we are on our phones, it's actually not a true break. So, as much as we think when we're laying down that we are resting if we're looking on our phones, to our brains, it's actually not a real break. So, I loved this part of the book Rewire by Nicole Vignola. She's a neuroscientist and she explains this more. She says, "How easy is it to waste 10 minutes on social media without even realizing? My research investigated how we allocate mental energy resources to social media, something that people usually engage in with the perceived idea they are taking a mental break from work. Our brains have limited capacity for daily energy expenditure and therefore have limited energy resources. Activities such as studying, problem solving, and higher order thinking can lead to increased energy consumption, thus leading to mental fatigue. The problem is that when we use social media during our work breaks as a form of distraction, thinking that we're giving our brains a break, our energy resources are, in fact, still being allocated to something that is mentally taxing, getting a kick from doom scrolling. This leads to cognitive overload, a state where the mind is overwhelmed by excessive information or stimuli, hindering our brain processing. So, in today's digital age, constant data influx from sources like social media can lead to mental fatigue, impacting decision making and overall cognitive function. Social media platforms are designed to capture our attention, contributing significantly to this overload. So, when we think that we are taking a break and chilling out on our cell phone, just doing our thing, it is actually a cognitive overload to our brain. It is causing mental fatigue. Is it causing us to feel overwhelmed? And our bodies also, too, oftentimes are having a stress response from the information that we're seeing online. So if you are consuming content that is stressful, maybe you're watching the news, maybe you're reading articles, whatever it is that you're doing, if it's stressful, your body is also having a response to that, which is also making you feel stressed out and overwhelmed. So, not only is the phone causing us to have mental fatigue and is really contributing to this feeling of overwhelm because our brains are just at capacity with the amount of information that they're processing, but our bodies are also in a fight or flight state when we are reading things like the news or watching things like the news on our phone during our break. So when we are taking breaks, the breaks need to be breaks where we're resting. It's really, really powerful for us to rest our eyes. I know when, I don't know if you guys have had that when like you're with your grandpa or grandma and they're like, I'm resting my eyes. And you're like, all right, Grammy. And I'm like, dude, I'm resting my eyes. Resting your eyes is so dope. Closing your freaking peepers and letting the muscles of your eyes relax and sink into their sockets. Amen. Anyone who's not driving, close your freaking eyes. Let the muscles relax. Let those eyes sink in those sockets. And just feel how nice it is to feel your eyeballs relax. It is such a beautiful thing. Something else I really like to do to allow our eye muscles to relax is I like to stare off into the distance. So, because we are looking at our phones and computers so much, we're actually straining the muscles of our eyes that are responsible for focusing on things that are close distance to us. So, when we look off into the distance at a mountain, at a tree, at this house, at your neighbor who's naked, whatever it is that you're looking at in the distance, you're actually allowing the muscles that are responsible for us focusing on things that are further away to engage, and then relaxing the muscles that are responsible for looking at things that are close. So it's actually very relaxing too. If you want to relax your eyes by looking far in the distance, that's another one of my favorite things to do. But we need to be resting for 10 to 15 minutes with our eyes closed off of our phones. I love if we can do this outside in nature. There's also a lot of research on grounding. Grounding is such a beautiful, powerful practice. It actually calibrates your nervous system. It actually can decrease the negative ions in your body. It's something that's proven to reduce stress, putting your feet on the earth. Getting outside, listening to birds is also proven to boost your mood. So there's a lot of different things that we can layer on to taking breaks. But what I will say most importantly, one of the reasons that you're overwhelmed is because you are on your phone, your eyes are engaged, your body is engaged, you are not actually relaxing, and your brain is just at capacity. And in addition to that, what it also means is if our eyes are engaged, our ears are also engaged, and we're not in silence. I have been obsessed with silence lately. Oh my goodness gracious. I cannot take another song. I cannot take another podcast. I cannot take another YouTube. I cannot take another person talking to me. I cannot take it. I just need silence. Think about how much information we are inundated with on a daily basis. We have resources, studies, podcasts, YouTubes, TikToks, Snapchats, all of this sound information is just like constantly in our ears. And I think a lot about when we're older, what it's going to be like to have bad hearing because so many of us have our earbuds in, our headphones on, and are blasting stuff in our ears almost all the time. So when we can be really mindful about what we're consuming, both with our eyes and our ears, and even see these organs as like sensitive parts of us that are responsible for connecting with the outside world, and be like, wow, just like if I'm working out my glute muscles, I would never work out my glutes 7 days a week. Even though I've been really going hard in the paint on building my booty, I wouldn't do it 7 days a week. And just like that, think about how much use our eye muscles get every single day looking at everything, how much use our ears get every single day, responsible for hearing everything. There is so much data and information that they're processing on a daily basis. It's like so sweet if we think about giving our eyes and ears a little break. So, being in silence, being off of our phone, being in nature is really beautiful. And being mindful about taking 10 to 15 minutes every single day, at least to like fully decompress and shut down. I love a nap. I love a nap. Oh my goodness, I'm a napper. I love naps. And everyone's like, shut up. It's because of your job. You guys, even when I was working in the corporate world, I was working from home, I would take a nap. Sometimes I would go to my car and just sit in my car and I would sit in silence and I would just meditate or breathe or be away. So I would go to a closet at my first job in the corporate world in Chicago. I would literally hide in conference rooms. So finding time to take a second, take 10 to 15 minutes, completely shut down and like shut off the world completely so that you can kind of re-enter when you're done is going to greatly help you with overwhelm. Driving in my car, I really love to drive in my car with no music, no podcasts, no phone, no voice notes. You guys have completely ruined voice notes, okay? I was loving voice notes for a long time and now everyone's ruined them. Everyone's like literally doing their makeup and doing their dishes while they're sending me voice notes for 15 minutes and we need to stop. They were helpful and now they're not. So my car rides are also silent. So make sure to really think about how we're going to take breaks.
If you are someone who is really working on improving your health, I highly recommend AG1 every single morning. This is something I take every single morning before I put anything in my body. I just mix it with water. It's so simple. It makes me feel energized. It starts my day off right, keeps me regular. I love it. I've been taking it for years. And what I love about AG1 as a brand, they're just constantly putting their formula to the test. So they have scientists and doctors and researchers who work with third-party experts on studies that validate the benefits. And they're just always trying to have the highest quality ingredients. There are whole food sourced ingredients, vitamins, minerals, pre and probiotics. It's just packed with the good stuff that your body will absolutely love. In some of the studies, they found fascinating things that are pretty powerful. 91% of participants noticed that that they need less coffee after 60 days in one of the studies. So cool. That is something that I've experienced as well. 97% of people in a research study felt more energy after 30 days of drinking AG1. I'm sure you've heard of about it. Maybe you've seen one of their really cool commercials. Maybe you've seen your favorite health influencer talk about it. Like, the hype is real. If there is one product I trust to support my whole body health, it's AG1. And that's why we've partnered with them for so long. Starting your journey with AG1 is a win, baby. Try AG1 and get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3, K2 and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase at drinkag1.com/almost30. That's drinkag1.com/almost30. Check it out. This episode is brought to you by BetterHelp. Okay, therapy, baby. I feel like therapy has really helped me, well, in so many ways, but one of the ways I've been noticing lately is I'm not comparing myself to other people and other people's lives as much as I used to. And therapy has been a huge player in just shifting where my energy goes. If you are someone who compares, I feel you, truly. Comparison, though, is the thief of joy. And it's really easy to envy other people's lives, especially with us being on social media so much, on our phones, seeing what people are doing, seeing the highlight reels of people's lives. But therapy can really help you focus on what you want instead of what others have, so you can really start living your best life. I have been in therapy, oh my gosh, for 6, 7 years now. And I've been with my current therapist for 4 years. It's the unfair advantage. It is the investment that I will always make in myself. And I highly recommend. So if you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online. It's designed to be convenient and flexible and suited to your schedule. All you have to do is fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist, and you can switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. So what are you waiting for? Find more balance with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/almost30 today to get 10% off your first month. That's betterhelp.com/almost30.
So the second thing, why you're overwhelmed and what we can do about it, is you are not clear on your priorities. And when I'm saying you, I'm saying me as well, my sisters in Christ. So just know that this is both of us. We are not clear on our priorities. You are not clear on your priorities. When we are clear on our priorities, we know what we're doing and why we're doing it. Simple as that. And when we are overwhelmed, we are saying that everything in the whole world is a priority. This person's random voice note is a priority. This person's favor that they want from you is a priority. Your boss's freaking happy hour, your mom's, whatever the heck, your dishes, your laundry, volunteering, which is a priority, should be a priority. Looking at commenting on your friends' vacation pics, like whatever the heck and Bob, you're thinking is when everything around you is controlling what you're prioritizing, you're never going to be in control of your life. And we need to be inner sourced for our lives. We need to be the dictators of our lives, what comes into our field, what comes into our conscious, what comes into our life, and choosing how we are going to go about that. So having clarity on your priorities is huge. The way that we clarify our priorities is clarifying our values. This is what I perceive, is by clarifying our values. So values clarification is really this process of reflecting on and really deepening an understanding of your personal values so that your actions and behaviors are more aligned to what you really believe in and what you really want, rather than the whims and impulses of the moment. When you have clarity in the morning, like, this is what I value. I value freedom. I value connection. I value beauty. And everything in my life needs to align to those values. So freedom, I need to continue to have flexibility in my schedule. How do I do that? I make sure that no one else is trying to get in touch with me during this time because I need to get my work done so that I can do whatever I want in the afternoon. I value connection. I actually am going to make an hour walk time with a friend because I really value connecting with friends. I value beauty. I'm going to spend time in nature looking at flowers because that's one of my values. So whatever your values are, it's like, how can we have those at the center of our lives? Just like holding it down from a foundational level of what we do and why we do it. When you don't know what you want because you've never made time to explore and clarify your values, it's really natural to look at other people unconsciously and imitate their values. So, this is why social media, again, is so dangerous because we're oftentimes actually imitating other people's values. We're looking at what everyone else is doing, and I'm like, I value Gucci. I value, you know, St. Bart's. I value that workout set, whatever. Like we're valuing things that aren't even our values. So there's actually a theory that talks a lot about this. It's called mimetic desire. And it's really that much of the unhappiness that we have really comes from wanting things that we actually don't truly want. So thinking that we desire something, but we actually truly in our hearts don't. And this is really all of social media. It's all of these images that make us think that we want this thing, that we want to be like this person. We want that body. We want that house. We want that relationship. When actually in our true soul, we actually don't. So it's really not enough to name the values too. They really need to be ranked. So I would also have your values, get clear on them, and then also rank them. In most of what I'm going to be talking about with overwhelm, whether it's the values or whether it's the friendship audit or whether it's our priorities, which we'll talk about those two things later, I really want us to also rank them. My whole bag is making this spiritual, personal growth stuff super practical. I have 7 planets in Earth, and I am a deeply spiritual person, but I am really, really practical with what I do. So being clear of like, what is the highest priority in my life? What is my number one value? For me, that's freedom. Freedom is my number one value. The second is connection. The third is beauty. So really getting clear on like, okay, how can I really live my life so that I'm ensuring that I am free, that I feel free, that I'm living a life that is in alignment to that value. My goal is to not have you spending a lot of your life chasing after something that you actually don't really want in your heart and soul. So, when we can get clear on our values, when we can connect with our heart, we can connect with our soul, when we slow down enough to listen, then we're not chasing things that we actually don't even care about, we actually don't even want. I'll never forget for so long, I was like, I want to run a marathon. That's my goal, dude. And then, like, one day I was like, I don't give a freaking rat's behind about a marathon. I don't care. Mad love and respect. I understand the journey of a marathon from the outside. I've ran half marathons, but I'm like, that's just not my journey. It's not my truth. It's not my journey, not my truth. And I don't care. It was actually my ego that wanted it. So when we can get clear with our values, get clear on what we really want, it becomes easier to then enact in the day to align to what we're doing. As it relates to priorities, so we have the values crystallized and clarified, making sure that we have those. You should also have relationships that align with your values. You should also be doing things aligned with your values. As a second point to that, what I really love to do simply to prevent overwhelm is to write down 3 things to get done that day. I love my intelligent change journal. It's the gratitude journal. They also have really beautiful journals, and in it, it's like 3 things to get done that day. And I really love having just 3 because y'all know I love a to-do list. I will write things down on my to-do list to just cross them off. I will write down shave my legs on my to-do list. I will write down drink lemon water on my to-do list. I will write down charge my car. I will write down breathe to cross them off. And so really being serious about the things on my 3 things I'm going to get done that day. What are the 3 things I'm going to do that day? What do I want to get done? What will I realistically get done? Because sometimes I would put things on my to-do list like that I wasn't realistically going to do. It'd be like, you know, sign up for that class. And it's like, I don't want to do that. That's not going to happen right now. Be like, write a New York Times bestseller today. And be like, what? What are you talking about? If I was going to write a New York Times bestseller, which our book comes out next year, it would be like, write 1,000 words today, making it actually tangible for you to do that day. So writing down 3 things that you want to get done that day, get 10K steps in, call your mom, finish that project so that we can be super clear. This is realistic. This is possible. Cognitively, I understand that I can do this. It feels easy to achieve. I know I can do it. And I can also then build momentum each day by checking those things off because I've given myself realistic and small attainable goals. So we have our values, we have our 3 priorities for the day. In addition, underneath the bullet of getting clear on our priorities as a way to prevent ourselves from being overwhelmed, we have the friendship audit. So this is trademarked, taglined, created, supported, and done by me. You guys, I've been talking about this for years. The friendship audit will deeply help you with your overwhelm. When I realize that I'm overwhelmed, oftentimes it's because I'm overloaded with people, relationships, and friendships and connections. And I'll say connections because I think now with social media, now with our phones, we are very connected, which is a value for me, which is important and beautiful. But then there's a shadow side to that. When you are a person that likes to be connected, when you're a person that is very outgoing, social, codependent at times, very much values other people in your life, it can get very hairy. And you can now have so many people or relationships or conversations, whatever in your life, that it's dictating what you are doing rather than you're dictating what you're doing. So, an example, we start our day, we meditate like a good girl, we do our thing, and then we open our phone. We see 12 text messages. All of a sudden, we're in a portal with our friend who's going through a breakup. This one's going through a divorce. This one is looking to get a raise. This one needs you to see if this outfit's cute. This one just wants you to check out a meme. You have gone down a bunch of different journeys in that time that you did not choose to go down, that you are letting this person, this situation, this conversation really dictate what you're doing with your time, where your brain is going, and what your priorities are. And in that moment, your priorities are checking out the outfit for the date tonight, looking at the meme, talking about this person, doing that thing. And don't get me wrong, honey, a lot of my time is spent in conversation with friends. Don't get it twisted. But I have to be mindful about the group chats. I have to be mindful about planning the vacation. I have to be mindful about the conversations about whatever the freaking heck, because it's wasting a lot of our time and it's making us feel overwhelmed. When I already have, and I'm saying me because I'm also you guys have this as well. When I already have a very full plate with work, deep relationships that I want to tend to, dreams, goals, and ambitions, my own personal spiritual practices, that's a full freaking plate. I don't need to add on willy nilly conversations all the time with people all over the board. So when we do something called a friendship audit, which again, I've talked about this before, it's really helpful because it helps us clarify and crystallize the people in our life that deserve our time and energy and how much time and energy they deserve. It sounds savage, it sounds mean, but it's not. It is actually just crystallizing who in our life is a reciprocal, loving, trusted person that deserves our time and attention, and who is a person that's an acquaintance, who's a person that's a friend, and then who's someone that, like, maybe they're going to exit your life. Maybe they're not the person for you. Maybe it's not a relationship you want to invest in. This really helps us contextually see from a brain perspective how we're spending our time and energy. So, example, my friendship audit. I have A, B, C. I have my A level people, which are my soul family, like the people that have deep, intimate access to me, the people that get to have clearing conversations with me, the people that get to give me feedback, the people that can really say anything to me, the people that can get really messy with me, the people that just I have really true, authentic, deep relationships with. These are the people that if they text me, I always respond. If they call me, I always answer. That is just bar none. If they need me, I will always be there. The second row is the friends that I deeply love, these really good friends that, like, I really go deep with, I have deep, intimate relationships with. But if I need to resource myself, if I need self-care, if I need to be with myself, if I need time away, I'm going to not be tending to these relationships as much. I'm going to be investing in them when we're together, very present, off the phone, deep time, but I'm not going to be investing with conversating every single day in the text. I'm not going to be engaging in group chats all the time. I'm just going to be spending enough time that feels really good so that this person knows that I love them, but I'm not going to go any further than that and like try and deepen or try and expand because I don't have the time and energy. I want to show up in the relationships that I can really well. So I'm not going to go any further than what feels good. The C level is acquaintances. These are people I might not respond to all the time. These are the people that I appreciate and we have really good energy, but it's not like I'm going to make it a priority and I'm going to deprioritize the things that matter to me to respond to them. When we are messy with our boundaries, when we are people pleasers, when we are just people that really are living in response to whatever everyone else wants from us, we are really taking the C-level people that don't really do a lot for us in the first place, that aren't people that are reciprocal a lot of times, that can use us, that can just kind of be toxic sometimes. We're really letting them run our lives and take a lot of energy from us. Sometimes the people that are not valuable in our life are taking the most time and energy. So, in a friendship audit, you're really seeing clearly how you're spending your time and energy, which prevents you from overwhelm. It's helpful for me because when my phone rings and I see the person, I see this is an A person or this is a person that gets deep intimate access to me, I'm always answering. If this is a C person and I'm busy, I'm not answering in this moment. I'm going to when I need to. I'm going to when I can, and maybe I can't, maybe I won't. But it really helps you to understand and prioritize. So, getting clear on your priorities through clarifying your values, ranking those values, getting clear on the 3 things you want to get done for the day, and being realistic about those things, and then doing a friendship audit. Auditing your relationships in your life often and regularly, making sure to deep dive and love on the people that are reciprocal and loving to you, those friendships that deserve all of your time and attention, and then really deprioritizing and even exiting out those ones that aren't reciprocal, those people that aren't really good to you. So, 3, another reason why you are overwhelmed and what we can do about it. You are not saying no, my darling angel, my mirror, my sister in Christ. You are not saying no. The way that I now force myself to say no, because I am someone that is getting way better with saying no. I'm not going to say I'm bad at it because I'm actually so much better at it, but I still struggle. I've noticed myself increase my capacity to hold many, many things. And it's a really beautiful thing to have a big capacity. I know so many of you have so much capacity to hold. But then you get addicted to that increasing capacity. You're like, I can also do this. I can also do this. And your life becomes this like big game where you're like, yeah, I have 30 minutes on my calendar. What can I throw in here? So you are not saying no. So the way that I support myself in saying no more, and people pleasers unite. You guys and I, simpatico, we have a hard time saying no. I force myself to say 5 no's each week. This is my 5 no theory. You should be saying no to at least 5 things every week. These are things you don't want to do. And sometimes these are things that you want to do, but you actually don't have the energy, the capacity, the time, etc. So as an example, it's a Sunday and I'm looking at my schedule this week and I'm like, okay, there's a dinner Tuesday. Okay, I'm going to feel into that. There's a meeting here. There's all these things. I actually, when I look at my week, I actually have 3 dinners scheduled for the week. I need to say no to at least one of them. When I'm looking at my schedule, I have a lot of meetings and they're kind of back to back and they're all over the place with what they're about and who they're with. I need to say no to one of them. There's maybe during the week, someone calls you and I'm like, I actually don't have capacity right now for that conversation or for that person. And I know they probably just want something. So I'm actually going to say no to being available for that person. I'll just text them. Maybe something comes up that week and you want to say no. Maybe someone asks you to take something on your plate and you just say no, that you're unavailable. So knowing that you have to use those no's, gamifying this process and being like, actually, nope, I have to use a no. I have one more no left. When am I going to use it? Can really support you in saying no more often. We believe that no is rude. Many of us believe it makes us not liked. Many of us believe that it's like the thing that's going to get us safety or support, but we're just really losing our power when we're not saying no. There is a magnetism when someone says no. Oh my God, when someone says no to me, oh, stop it. I'm like, talk that talk. It's so hot. Woman, man, business partner say no to me. I'm like, oh my God, when my team members say no, sometimes pisses me off. Sometimes I love it. I would say it's 50-50. I'm learning to love it though. I'm trying. I'm really, really liking the no way more. And a way that you can really support yourself in being able to say no more, it's really a reflex. So you have to be meditating so that you can have spaciousness between your thoughts and your actions. That's number 1. Or you have to be just practicing taking a moment and saying, let me think about that. I'm going to get back to you. I just need a second to see my schedule and I'll let you know. You really need to, when we're practicing saying no, give yourself the step between yes and no of the maybe, and then you can come back with the no. So that's a no hack. Giving yourself time and space between a yes and a no and saying maybe, feeling it in your body, getting out of the situation and checking in. Do I want to do this or not? I actually do. Perfect. Say yes. I actually don't. When I think about it, actually I'm really tired. Then you can say no. So saying maybe as a support in your process of saying no eventually, thumbs up. And then making sure that you say no at least 5 times every week is going to help you greatly in overwhelm, greatly and gravely.
I am always so excited to share new supplements, new brands with you that can really make a huge difference in your long term health. And today I'm going to talk about Fatty 15, baby. So, this is an incredible scientific breakthrough to support your long term health and wellness. C15 is the first essential fatty acid to be discovered in 90 years. And get this, okay, studies have confirmed that it's 3 times better, broader, and safer than omega 3. You've been hearing a lot about omega 3s. You probably take an omega 3, but this is better. So much better. So if you want to get sciencey about it, studies show that C15 works by strengthening our cells, improving our mitochondrial function. Remember mitochondria, the powerhouse of the cell, and protects us against damaging free radicals. We live in the modern world, baby. Free radicals are everywhere, unfortunately. So the result is better long-term metabolic, liver, and heart health. This is so major. So many of us are deficient in this C15, which results in weaker cells. If you are sleeping poorly, if you feel sluggish, if you just feel that feeling of like getting older, you don't have to. And so you might be deficient in C15. So C15 works in multiple ways. It repairs age-related damage to cells, protects them from future breakdown. It boosts mitochondrial energy output and activates pathways in the body that help regulate our sleep, mood, and natural repair mechanisms that support our overall health. Okay? This is an essential supplement. I think I have incorporated it for the last 2 months. And so I'm really excited to continue. It's really easy to incorporate. I take 1 capsule every single day. So get on your Fatty 15. Fatty 15 is on a mission to replenish your C15 levels and restore your long-term health. You can get an additional 15% on their 90-day subscription starter kit by going to fatty15.com/almost30 and using the code almost30 at checkout. That's fatty15.com/almost30. Use the code almost30 at checkout for 15% off the 90-day subscription starter kit. Hey, this is for my foodies. Where are you guys at? Okay. Are you any of you drowning in a sea of meal kit options? I know that you want to have it be more convenient to cook for you or your family, friends, but it can be really overwhelming to like find the right one that's actually good, actually easy to make. But fear not, because amidst the chaos, we found a shining star. Home Chef is not just another fish in the meal kit sea; they're the gourmet catch. And I've been really, really loving their meals. They provide fresh ingredients and chef design recipes conveniently delivered to your doorstep to simplify your cooking experience. I know most of us don't have time to like start from scratch, chop everything. We're not like a sous chef and a chef and have all the time in the world. So whether you prefer classic meal kits with pre-portioned ingredients and easy instructions, speedy recipes ready in less than 30 minutes, or oven-ready kits with pre-chopped ingredients, or quick microwave meals that like assemble in minutes, Home Chef has you and the entire family covered for delicious meals without the hassle. So they have over 30 options a week. So like you're not going to get bored. There's going to be something for you. A variety of dietary needs are satisfied. And now like that brain space can be allocated elsewhere. You don't have to worry about what you're going to make for dinner or a meal. It's convenient. It's economical too. Home Chef customers are saving an average of $86 per month on groceries. It's incredible. So for a limited time, Home Chef is offering our listeners 18 free meals plus free dessert for life and of course, free shipping on your first box. So go to homechef.com/almost30. That's homechef.com/almost30 for 18 free meals. This is insane. You have to go right now. Homechef.com/almost30 for 18 free meals and free dessert for life. You heard that right. Homechef.com/almost30. You must be an active subscriber to receive free dessert. Enjoy.
So the fourth reason why you are overwhelmed and what we can do about it. Your body is addicted to stress. Your body is addicted to stress and you're actually seeking it out. So when our body is addicted to the hormones and chemicals from being stressed, our body then seeks out that feeling and experience of being stressed. I know this is a weird thing to think about, that our body would be addicted to something that doesn't feel good, but it's true. We can get high on being overwhelmed. Girl, I've had to check myself because there is a part of me that is like, I'm amazing and I'm doing so much. And I just did this meeting and then I was talking about this and then I was in a one-on-one and we were doing healing work. That part of me, that productive part of me gets high on being overwhelmed. She's like, this means I'm doing something right. And our body can really get addicted to stress and the high of being overwhelmed. Stress addiction, which is very real and something that's very much growing, refers to a pattern of behavior where you consciously or unconsciously seek out stress-inducing situations to experience the physical or emotional impact of stress. So there actually is benefits to stress, which many of you know about. Benefits of stress may include a feeling of excitement, overcoming challenges, facing fears, and even the feeling of reaching a goal that you've been going after. So stress, even with the myriad of negative experiences that it brings us, can be addicting. So it brings us a lot of negative things to our body, to our brain, to our soul, but it actually brings us some really good things that a lot of us can be really addicted to. There's this trick that our brains play on us. So in addition to cortisol, stress releases dopamine. So the feel-good hormone that we all know and love, that we're just literally mainlining on a daily basis on our phones, encourages repeated behavior by activating the reward center in our brains. So according to Heidi Hanna, who's an integrative neuroscientist, I was reading a lot about this and I'll link that article in the show notes. She was saying that stress can cause a natural high by activating the arousal and attention centers in our nervous system, which can be addictive as drugs. In other words, your chronically stressed out brain could be dependent on those small euphoric hits of dopamine. So basically saying that your brain and body can be addicted to those small euphoric hits of dopamine. So when we're overwhelmed, we get those euphoric hits of dopamine from our stress response. And then both our brain and our body, which is releasing the chemicals of stress, are addicted to this feeling. So many of us, when we're overwhelmed, actually secretly, subconsciously like it. We feel productive. We feel worthy. We feel like we're doing something right when we're feeling that feeling of overwhelm. And this just isn't true. It's not something that we can do long term. It's not supporting our goals in the end. It's not supporting our health. And in this case, we are completely over-indexing on the part of us that's productive. I shared something on Instagram the other day when I was like, it's one thing to love yourself, and then it's another thing to love yourself when you're resting. So many of us prioritize action, productivity, doing, learning, achieving over resting, over doing nothing, over creative time, over time in nature, over just exploring the inner crevices of their mind. And we are completely addicted to the doing, to the achieving, to the wanting, all of these things. And we are overwhelming ourselves. And then we're getting addicted to the feeling of overwhelm because it's validating that part of us that thinks we're never enough. And then our brain and body are also connected to it. So not only are we doing a lot of things that are causing us to be overwhelmed, we're living in a society that's incredibly overwhelming. We're in a time in the world that's so overwhelming, but our brain and body is responding and is actually encouraging us to continue that cycle. So this is where we can really be mindful about supporting our body to get off that hamster wheel of addiction to stress. One of my favorite things that I do to support my brain and body with getting off that hamster wheel of addiction to stress, magnesium. Girl, the other day I had a session with a client and I was like, something's coming through. I was like, magnesium. The guides say magnesium. And I was dead serious. I was like, I've said crazy stuff like da 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 da. And I was like, the guides say magnesium. The guides say GABA. The guides say 5-HTP. It's like the guides were telling me magnesium, but I recommend magnesium to everyone. Magnesium changed my life. It helped my mental health. It helps my body relax. It helps my body stay regular. It's the best, and it really, really supports the nervous system in relaxing, in calming down. It's so beautiful. So taking magnesium every single night has been so helpful. Make sure to not OD at night, because then in the morning you're going to be pooping your pants. And also, it's actually better for your body to get a consistent dose of it through the day rather than a mega dose at night. It metabolizes it better, but magnesium is so helpful for supporting our bodies in breaking that addiction to stress. Also, doing practices like grounding, like I was saying before, meditating before bed, meditating in the morning is so helpful to getting our bodies off of that addictive cycle. I also really am mindful now about the workouts that I do. So, if we are in a constant state of stress and overwhelm, if you're feeling so stressed and overwhelmed about your life, you feel like so much is going on, I wouldn't suggest then going to a HIIT workout 5 to 7 days a week. That is an intense stress on our body. I'll never forget when I was living in New York City, I would freaking get on the subway at 5 a.m., listen to EDM, drink pre-workout, go to a berries class at 5:15, walk to my work, go to my work, get on the subway. Like the amount of stimuli and intensity of sensations and sounds and sights, especially for someone that is sensitive. I mean, I don't know how I didn't die. And we are getting up early in the morning listening to really intense music that is just really impacting our body. And then we're sprinting or we're doing these really hard workouts. If you are already in a state where you are stressed out all the time from a brain body perspective and you're overwhelmed, don't force yourself to be doing these really intense workouts. Give your body a break. Give your mind a break. Allow yourself to rest. Allow yourself to de stress. Allow yourself to decompress. I really like to do these intense workouts once a week. And when I'm feeling like I actually need to move energy, and maybe I have a lot of emotions or feelings, and I make sure to do it timed at the right times of my day. In the morning, when our cortisol level is highest, this is actually really helpful for our body. It gets us up, makes us bright eyed and bushy tailed. But if we then impact it even more, our cortisol, by going to a HIIT workout, it's not always good for us. So, timing your workouts, giving yourself a break, not working out as hard if you're feeling overwhelmed is also going to help your body relax and decompress during times of overwhelm so you can get off that addiction cycle. Also, notice where you find yourself going to things unconsciously that are continuing this stress addiction. So for me, I will be honest, you guys, I've told you this before. My guilty pleasure is YouTube drama. Like, so embarrassing. Some people watch reality shows. I watch like 20-year-olds. So embarrassing. Not anymore. I've broken that habit, but I was like addicted to this YouTube drama. So weird. And I was noticing myself unconsciously going on my phone, times through the day to like watch it and check in. And I was like, oh, wow, I'm unconscious about this. Noticing this addiction. I'm noticing my hand go to the thing. I'm scrolling. I'm kind of getting back in that cycle. So catching ourselves when we're in those moments of looking for the things that are stressing us out. If it's the workout, if it's the phone, if it's the conversation with a loved one, if it's the relationship, there's a lot of things that we can be addicted to from a stress perspective. Maybe we're addicted to fighting with our partner. Maybe we're addicted to negative self-talk. Maybe we're addicted to talking crap about other people. You can have so many different negative addictions that cause you stress. You could be overeating and that could be causing you so much stress. So these negative addiction cycles that are causing us stress in our body that we are addicted to are also making us overwhelmed. So let's go over the 4 things that are making you overwhelmed and then a little bit at a high level to summarize what to do about them. So the first one that we talked about within this is you're taking breaks wrong. So taking breaks off your phone, resting completely is going to be huge. The second is you're not clear on your priorities. So getting clear on your priorities by doing a friendship audit, by clarifying your values, and by prioritizing 3 things in a day. The third is you're not saying no. So use 5 no's every single week to say no. I would love for you guys to share with me your no's. I would be obsessed. I would also love to hear your values. So share in the comments or share with me in DMs at It's Krista. I would actually love to hear your values and your no's. You can send to me who didn't make your friendship audit too. Wink. And then 4, your body is addicted to stress and the high of being overwhelmed. So we need to break that cycle through meditation, through slowing down, through supplements like magnesium. I love JS Health Magnesium. She has a bioavailable magnesium now that I absolutely love. It's so good. Almost 30 code. They're a sponsor, but this isn't sponsored. It's truly what I have every single night to support yourself from getting out of that state of that addiction to that natural high and having that stress-induced dopamine cortisol mix that we love so much, getting ourselves out of that. My goal and intention is for us to feel better about who we are in our bodies and our lives, to not be so addicted to this feeling of having to produce and do, to actually live our lives instead of just planning to live them at some point and making our lives look good on social media. I really want us to be in the experience of being human on earth, being in our body. It's just such a beautiful thing. And I'm hopeful this was helpful. So my name is Krista Williams. You can find me on Instagram. It's at It's Krista. It's ITSKRISTA. I host retreats. I have one in Ibiza in October that I would love for you to come. I think I have like 5 spots left. At this retreat, it's a retreat for sensitives and empaths. So I am someone who's deeply sensitive. I'm an empath. It's all about taking your power back. It's all about stepping into your purpose and your power of your sensitivity. We have people tune into their gifts. We are in the most beautiful place on earth in Ibiza at 6 Senses, which is a 5-star resort. It is one of my favorite, most gorgeous resorts on earth. You meet the most amazing, dope women. You eat organic food. You swim in the sea. We hike. It's literally heaven. I am a snob about where I stay. I'm a snob about my travel. I am a snob about my retreats. Do not get it twisted. I am watching for inauthenticity. I am watching for fakeness. I am ensuring that everyone is having the best time ever and that everyone is being real and genuine and truthful and laughing and just prioritizing themselves and their experience. I am a freaking master retreat facilitator. It is my gift and dharma, and I would love to have you. And I had to say that because it's true. It's how I feel. So it's Krista.com. You can find more information about the True Essence retreat in Ibiza. You can come with a friend and share a room if you want. I got a few spots left for that. I also work with women one-on-one. So I'm a coach. I work with women one-on-one. You can email me, Krista@itskrista.com. I don't have any spaces right now for the next couple months, but I will opening up soon. And I also do courses and programs like Metamorphosis, which is the body transformation program. We transform the body through the mind. And then the Life Edit. And of course, I am the host of Almost 30, this dear podcast that I love so deeply that I do with my best friend. Our book is coming out next year in October. I cannot wait to share it with you. Almost30.com for more information, for the show notes, for the links to all the studies, for all the links to everything I talked about here. And then Almost 30 Podcast on Instagram and TikTok. And you can find me on Instagram at It's Krista. I love you so much. Thank you for sharing this with a friend, for someone that needs it. You guys can talk about it. You can support one another. I love getting a podcast episode recommended. It's like the best. And thank you for subscribing, rating, and reviewing. It just means so much whenever you guys just send a little love our way and just send a little note that you love the pod. I will see you on the next one. You're the best. Bye.